You know it's bad when a movie comes out 2 years prior, goes to streaming, you watched a few minutes, clicked out of it to never return, completely forget that you even had that experience, and now 2 years later you're being forced to watch it in its entirety by people who claim to care about your well-being. Well, let's get on with it.
Dun it, dun it. Dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it.
I like that. It's going to be my new theme song.
Dun it, Batman.
So we left off with Hardin pouring his heart out to Tessa in his homework assignment. And Tessa reopens that door because he is the man of her dreams. Aggressive, know-it-all, thick eyebrows, squatter, tattoos. I mean, how can she resist this dashing lad? Well, that is what we were left to believe anyways. Turns out, her returning to him was all a figment of his imagination. Hardin has fallen on tough times, so tough that he is sleeping in his car in the elephant graveyard. Tessa is thriving. That internship came through. And here is where we meet Dylan, Cole, Dylan, Julian. Which one is this? I can actually tell them apart now that they're older, but I always forget which is which. I know, it's dumb. Let me see. Who is this? Dylan. I knew it was Dylan. I'm lying, I just always say his name first. So, it is her first day, and she is way out of line. Because what we're not gonna do is sit up here and pretend that we have not all vigorously pressed the elevator close button while pretending we are trying to keep it open. That's what we're not gonna do. When it's your time to get got, it's just your time to get got. Take the L and keep it pushing. But the fact that he was actually trying to hold the elevator for her and she calls him out of his name, now she's standing there looking down. So they put her in this storage closet so that she can read 5 scripts a week and say whether she likes them or not. But her boss, Vance, may be a bit of a problem. She didn't even get to meet him the first day because he's in there screaming at the phone like he just dropped the ball for Annalise. In the midst of this, we are bombarded with the most random scene of Hardin going to the tattoo shop. First of all, if we're going to cut to Hardin, the least we can do is show how he ended up sleeping in his car. And for how long has it been going on? Because the car was dusty, which leads me to believe it's been a couple of months, even though they say it's a month later. But something's not adding up. I also would like to know if Hardin is only dealing with the breakup, or is he also in conflict with his dad? Like, the fact that we are 8 minutes in and I'm so confused. This is not a thriller. This is not a suspense. Why are there holes? Why am I confused? I'm so irritated right now. So, Tessa and the crew go on a field trip because her boss needs a deal expansion or some crap, which is perfectly fine. But here's my problem. They're sitting in the hotel waiting to go to this event. They're getting dressed. They're getting ready. Kimberly thinks it's the perfect time to tell her that she's involved with Vance. Why is this a thing? Why does she think she needs to tell her this? It is her second day. Now, I can see if they were getting to know each other, they were friends at this point, and she wanted to disclose this information. But she's literally an intern. So the only possible explanation is that she thinks she's going to steal her man. Because why else would you tell her this? You're a bot. And why is the son named Smith? He is not a cadet. Then they have this TMI conversation about her not wearing underwear under her dress. Why is this important for the audience to know? I'm thinking it's going to come up later. Never does. We get a glimpse of Hardin's tattoo. And when I say it is one of the ugliest tattoos I've ever seen, it looks like someone scribbled on his arm, or maybe the child of the tattoo artist drew it out and he's like, yeah, let's go with that. I can't believe I'm still watching this. Cut back to Tessa looking like an extra from Austin Powers Gold, remember? Then Trevor sitting up there talking about, you clean up nice. Does she? I'd rather her go back to the house on the prairie look. We get a shameless cameo from our dear Anna Todd. that was so unnecessary and cringe. They're in the club and someone who was standing over her, which means she just walked over there, asked, "What books have you written?" And Anna goes, "Oh, this and that." Like, excuse me? Girl, what? Is this the conversation you were having in the club? They couldn't give her a better line? Like, say nothing and just hand her a drink, word to Stephanie? Or, you know what? Better yet, she could have been working in the office. You know, where Tessa is reading other people's work. Perfect cameo. But whatever. But Tessa and... what is this boy's name in this? Trevor. Why can't I remember his name? Maybe because this movie is stupid and boring and I don't care what his name is. So Trevor is sitting talking to Tessa, trying to break the ice because they got off to a rough start. They were drinking with this rich guy. Then we go back and forth between Hardin being miserable with his wonderful friends and Tessa living her best life in her metallic gold. We are 17 minutes into the film, and according to my watch history, this is where I exited 2 years ago and never looked back. I'm so tempted to do that now, but instead I'll cut to this ad for a moment and then get back to it. Atlas VPN. I know some of you may be thinking, girl, what the heck is a VPN? It stands for Virtual Private Network. Simply put, this means you can send and receive data through a private network. You are completely protected. You don't have to worry about anybody hacking into your server, stealing your information, tracking your information, or sending you unwanted information. I'm sure we all hate pop-up blockers. If that's not enough, then my personal favorite feature should get you excited about this limited time deal. Atlas VPN allows you to change your digital location. With just a click of a button, boom, I'm in Central Perk singing Smelly Cat. Smelly cat, smelly cat. Your favorite shows that you've been wanting to watch but are no longer available in your country are just a click away. Additionally, I know you're like, girl, there's more. Yes, there's more. There's more because Atlas is not a regular VPN. You also get the best deals while shopping online, whether it's a streaming service like Spotify or you need to book a flight or hotel. And the great thing about it is one Atlas VPN subscription gives you access to its network on unlimited devices. They are offering literally the best deal on the market right now. 3 months free to try it out with a 30-day money-back guarantee. After that, only $1.83 a month, a price that is locked in for a 3-year subscription. All of this for $1.83 a month after a whole 3 months free. If you don't pause this video and click the link below right now and stop playing with me, what are you waiting for? Click the link below. Okay, we're back. Tessa drunk dials Hardin and pulls a Noah. Are you out? Have you been drinking? He then heads over to where she is. And I have a question. How does he know where she is? Because he also asked her where she was. So unless he creepishly has some tracking device on her phone or they share locations, then I don't know how we just skipped that detail. Even if this is how he found her, there was literally no mention. But anyways, while he's hiking up the trail, Tessa and Trevor are hanging out, chilling, talking. It is confirmed that Trevor is a bit uptight. He works in publishing but refuses to read fiction. I mean, given the material that we are being subjected to with this movie, I guess I can't completely find him at fault. Tessa mistakenly makes him spill his wine, and in comes the incredible Hardin. I'm sorry, this face. This face. What is this face? Up till now, I've been pretty lenient with the acting abilities of these people, but what is this? Fucking Trevor! Sir, go somewhere with that. So they throw Trevor out and we hear one of the dumbest conversations about baking cookies that I have ever heard. You can blame it on her being drunk, but truly this script is all over the place. They go further with phrases like, tell me I'm the only one, that makes me shudder because I instantly think about Anna Todd's age at the time of writing this in her muse. So moving right along. Apparently Hardin is a magician in training because there's no other explanation as to how he was able to snatch the cloth off the cart without everything falling off. Another plot hole. I'm docking 10 points from Slytherin. And of course, Tessa wakes up with regret, and Hardin is all in a tizzy about getting her back. He and Landon have this argument in the driveway. Hardin's all, bro, I need your help, bro. And Landon's like, bro, I'm not your bro. And so that was annoying because Landon, what are you going to do about Tessa and Hardin's issues? Please share it with the class if you really want to know. Oh, you send a text saying Hardin loves her. Who cares? Now this next scene surprised me. Surprised because I actually experienced another emotion outside of anger, regret, and disdain. I cracked a smirk. Trevor did something that we all look for in someone that we hold dear, and that is someone who listens and takes action. Earlier when they were in the club, she told him that her money is being stretched thin, especially because she takes Uber everywhere, and those costs add up. So Trevor took it upon himself to make a budget for her, find a reasonable car, get her a deal, and take the car insurance expense off by getting the company to cover it. As someone who is currently in desperate need of a new car, this made me smile because if you've ever experienced car troubles or have had to go without a car, then you know it can be a struggle, especially with money. That's one of the most thoughtful things he could have done for her. And she was so happy she kissed him. It was definitely awkward, but I understand. You know what? Let me just take a moment to bask in the first scene I've enjoyed this film. Nearly 30 minutes in. Next, we find out from Landon that Hardin has finally gone back to London to visit with his mom, while simultaneously reading Tessa's horoscope as if we really needed to know that she doesn't express herself properly and needs to leave Hardin alone and find someone better. I said this last video. Something else I mentioned in the last video is that instead of putting Tessa up in that apartment he was squatting in, he should have tried to bring his mother there since she had been struggling financially. Lo and behold, he comes back from London with his mother, who he has yet to tell about his breakup. So Tessa agrees to go along with the lie that they are still together. During the conversation, my eyebrow raised a bit, because Tessa mentioned that she worked for Vance, and his mom goes, Hardin and I lived with Vance for a bit after his dad and I divorced. And then there's this awkward look. So first it was Kim with this is my man. Now she has this weird face, and I'm like, is he gonna do something to Tessa or something? Like, what is the tea? Why is no one elaborating? I'm deducting another 5 points from Slytherin. Tessa then goes back home to visit her mother, and in comes our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, aka Noah, but better known as Peter. At least on this channel. This scene, I literally had to rewind because what the hell is going on? So Peter sees her and they're chit-chatting, and he mentions something about being sorry about what happened with her dad, and she goes into a panic. Her mom calls and she's acting like everything's peachy. Tessa is steadily asking what happened with her dad because naturally the way this was all set up, we both sitting here thinking, and when I say we, I'm talking about Tessa and I, we're thinking something bad happened, like he got into a car accident or something. But her mom says that she told him not to come or chased him off. Then she oddly starts going off on Tessa and being weird about her asking to clarify what happened. So I'm like, oh, this is why people don't like the mom. But again, and I mentioned this the last time, it comes out of nowhere. If she's supposed to have a volatile relationship with her mother, and I get that in real life sometimes these outbursts do come out of nowhere, but you're literally springing it on your audience with no substance or setup that this is what's coming. So it's just odd. Not to mention the acting in this scene is absolutely horrid, so that doesn't help. She crawls back into the arms of Hardin, and we get this random scene of him having a nightmare about what happened to his mom. Like, shouldn't they have shown this in the last movie? And why are we jumping right into it? Then Tessa takes it upon herself to talk about the situation with his mom, saying she's sorry that happened to her like, ma'am, y'all literally met yesterday. Why do you think you're the person to be saying this? So inappropriate. Then Hardin jumps out of his sleep asking what they're talking about. Literally waking up asking the question as he's opening his eyes. What human being does this? Not a groggy, what are you guys in there gabbing about? It was, what are you two in there gabbing about? Almost how a dog wakes up out of their sleep barking because they heard a noise. I know someone that's like, okay, we get it, but I don't think you guys understand how annoying that was for me to watch. The level of irritation. So they go out for her birthday to yoga and then proceed to bake cookies in the shower. Where's his mom, you ask? I have no idea. I'm already irritated because I thought by this point Tessa would be dating Trevor and maybe breaking down his hard shell and at least falling in like. Instead, I have to watch them. So there's that. Her boss calls and asks her to do a favor of watching Smith. Hardin clearly has never been around kids because he's sitting there cursing like a sailor and the kid starts repeating every word back to back like a robotic parrot. The kid goes home. Hardin dials up the corniness and gives her her Christmas present a week early. Like, why can't you wait? So she's all mushy about it and he asks for another chance to be in a relationship, which warrants a celebration of baking cookies in her office. Now, I don't know about you guys, but rather if the building was empty or not, I would not be so bold as to even make out with someone at my place of work. And the thing is, it's not even a real job. You're an intern. Have some respect. But anyways, Chancellor Scott and his wife Karen are having a get together and he wants his ex-wife and the kids to come through. Two things. The recast completely threw me off for one, so I had no idea who they were at first, but more importantly, I just realized I called his wife Tara in the first video. I have no idea where I got that from. I changed characters' names all the time, but I didn't do that one on purpose. Maybe I thought I heard Tara, Karen. They actually don't sound alike. They get to the party and Hardin is hating on the relationship his dad has with his stepmother and Landon per usual. He mentions something about moving back to London after school. He has this whole blow up about the past, punches his dad, and his mother is sick of it. She's like, listen, you need to let this go before it destroys you, and takes Tessa down along. And I'm like, girl, please, they're already in the gutter. Can't get no lower than this. We finally meet back up with Trevor, only for Tessa to tell him about her drama and for him to tell her he's moving to Seattle to work at the new office. What a waste. Why even bring him in? Getting my hopes up that there will be something of a tangible love story. But I don't know, maybe not all hope is lost because shortly after, Vance offers her a job in Seattle. I never thought I'd be so desperate to get a love triangle going, but here we are. I know. Ultimately, she's going to end up with Hardin, but I need a break. Oh, and then Vance says Hardin is welcome to join you. So I'm like, is there beef with Vance and the mom or not? Because she said something, gave that weird look. Vance is acting normal, Hardin is acting normal, and that moment has yet to be addressed. The whole Slytherin house is about to get kicked out at this point. I'm tired. And it's not just because of that, it's because next they're at this New Year's Eve party with the old crew of friends that at this point I have no idea why they still associate with them. But I mean, what's new? Nothing about this dumb movie makes sense. So Hardin goes upstairs with some girl we don't know why. They don't tell us anything after for a while. Tessa falls for peer pressure and stays at a party she clearly doesn't care to be at. Magenta Spice and Tessa start arguing over who got played the most by Hardin during another infamous game of Truth or Dare. And then they break out into a fight. And of course, this warrants another celebration of baking cookies. Someone warned me that this would happen, and yet I still feel ill-prepared. Now, in the pattern of their so-called love, after they bake, they must what? Have some kind of conflict. Hardin sees her text where Trevor is congratulating her on the Seattle promotion, and Tessa overhears Hardin with the girl he took upstairs earlier. And they begin screaming, waking up every person of the land, all because they don't belong together and refuse to accept it. Well, of course that's not what they were saying, but that's what I said. Shoot, I'm tired. But it gets worse. We proceed to have one of the most melodramatic endings I have ever seen. Tessa is out looking for Hardin and he's on his way to her. She drops her phone while driving, goes to pick up his call, and gets hit by oncoming traffic. What in the Tyler Perry is going on? Why is this here? The script is bad enough. Spare me, please. Then in comes Landon beating up Hardin, and Trevor comes with the stats about her hospital bill and all that. Now I'm tired of Trevor. Yes, I just said a couple of minutes ago we need more of him, but goodness, every time I see him I feel like I'm watching Jarvis regurgitate data to Tony Stark. They know they're wrong for not giving that boy more layers than this. You introduce a new character and he's one-dimensional like everybody else. But anyways, it finally sinks into Hardin that he needs to break up with Tessa because they are toxic for each other. He does this by writing her a letter. I'm like, good. This movie is over. I clicked the button and there's still 16 minutes and 25 seconds left. What else is there to talk about? End it now. Alas, we get a montage of them living their lives apart from each other for like a week, and then another character that I thought I liked starts to irritate me. Hardin's mother. She sits there. Wait, before I get to that, I thought Hardin said she lived in a dump. Ain't nothing wrong with this house. Just lying. He's expelled from Hogwarts. But anyways, she's encouraging her son to go back to America to fight for Tessa. After she's already admitted that he can be horrible at times, she sees how self-destructive he is, and the boy clearly needs therapy, but no, by all means, push him to destroy the future of this young lady's life. Excellent parenting advice. So Vance Publishing is having their going away party at the Carlisle house, and Smith proposes to Kimberly. Trevor tries to start an honest conversation about his intentions with Tessa, but of course, Hardin comes in to steal his thunder. But we cannot end this without a cliffhanger. There was a homeless guy that we saw at the start of the film when Hardin was sleeping in his car. Well, the lovely couple has run into him again. Turns out, he is Tessa's father. I can't. After we collided, the biggest load of crap I've seen in a long time. Way worse than the first one. I don't know if I can continue with this franchise, and I'm not even joking right now. What were your thoughts about the second film? Was there anything enjoyable for you? What was the worst part? I'm sure that's gonna be hard to choose. Let me know down below. Blush Bunny merch and podcast linked in the description. Please stop by the store and follow the podcast. With all of that being said, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to click like and hop on over to that subscribe button and hit the bell. Otherwise, YouTube will never show you my videos. As always, I'm all ears. Until next time, bye.